Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to How to Rock the Virtual Stage. I'm your host, the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. Great to have you with us tonight, as we are always here every Wednesday, always live, bringing you the best guests we possibly can to help you learn to rock the virtual stage. My goal is to share from my 30 years as a broadcaster, professional speaker, and to help you move speaking skills, sales skills, marketing skills, branding skills onto the virtual stage, because we know the virtual stage is here to stay. Everything now is pivoted online, whatever industry you're in, from churches to schools, to speakers to marketing, everything has gone online. But the trouble is, many of us were never prepared and trained as broadcasters. Welcome to the world of broadcasting. Welcome, you are all now broadcasters. You get the chance to learn how to better do this by everything on social media, to presentation skills, to marketing, to branding. We've had it all, and we're going to keep having more of it. So if you've never followed us before, please follow us on Eventbrite. You can also find us on Facebook with our Facebook group, How to Rock the Virtual Stage group. And there's a lot of resources that we have to help you get going. Coming up next week, we have a double header for you. And we're going to move out of the nighttime. We're going to go into the daytime. Coming up on the December 2nd, Stephen Rao will be with me. We're going to do a noontime special event. Stephen is he helps people increase their speaking and consulting income. He wants you to actually learn how to market, brand, do it better. He's a former Disney individual. He worked with Disney marketing and sales with the hotels at Epcot and the different places. He's going to bring all that experience onto the virtual stage to help you increase your effectiveness virtually. And coming up on Thursday, we're going to do Wednesday, Thursday, back-to-back daytime. We're going to do 1 o'clock at Eastern time. And Allison Graham will be my guest on Thursday. Allison is a speaker, author, inspiring hope and resilience. I cannot think of a better way to end the year, talking about resilience and hope. She markets, she brands, she speaks on this, and we're going to do a whole show about how you do that virtually. How can we use this amazing tool, the virtual stage, to help bring hope and inspiration to people? Great way to end out the year. So join us for doubleheader week next week. We'll also thread that out on all of our social media platforms as well. Tonight, though, we're going to my old stomping grounds, Minnesota, way up north, and we are going to have Carol Kaemmerer with us tonight. Now, Carol is the executive branding. She is say that twice now. Executive branding coach, speaker, author. She is helping people to stop hide online. No more hiding online. She wants to actually help you improve your bios, your presence, everything they can, especially on LinkedIn. We're going to talk a lot about LinkedIn tonight. She has powerful online strategies to help you get found, get brand, and seen. She's an internationally recognized personal branding expert, a professional speaker, and author of the best-selling book, LinkedIn for the Savvy Executive. In addition to professional speaking and corporate workshops, she has also been one of those individuals working with C-suite as a C-suite executive. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the virtual stage, my friend, Carol Kaemmerer. Good evening, Carol.
Hello. You have to find the unmute.
That is one of the hardest things. You know what? I think the new slogan of 2020 is unmute.
Unmute. We can't hear you.
So we have a great show in store. And Carol, before we get specifically into LinkedIn and your new book and all the things you got going on, give us a brief history of how this evolved for you, because you have been a leader, a speaker, an author, but you've also carved out this unique niche. How did you come to land with LinkedIn?
Okay. It was by accident. So my career until 2011 had been in the marketing communications area. And very specifically, I had deep, deep knowledge of high-tech medical implantable devices. I worked for 20 years as a consultant to a Fortune 500 company here in Minneapolis, and they were my only client for 20 years. So it was really a problem for me when they experienced a problem. In 2010 and 11, there was a market slump for medical devices. And as many companies do, they decided to outsource some whole departments, and marketing communications was one of them. All of a sudden, I was dead in the water. I had no network beyond that company. With 20 years of deep investment in their people and all things internal to them, I had no outside network. And it was too soon to retire. So I began to look at LinkedIn as a way to understand how I could express my brand appropriately, grow a network, et cetera. While I was studying it, I found this is fabulous. If you do this, that happens. If you do that, something else happens. Oh, I'm getting this. So I began to teach all of my friends who also lost all their jobs. And very soon thereafter, they started sending me their friends. And I realized that this was a new avenue that I should go down. So now I share my branding brilliance with people rather than shining it on products. And it's just gratifying. I love it.
So right now, your backstory matches the world of COVID really well right now.
Yes.
Amazing that you went through all that. And now we're in a world where people literally are all reinventing themselves.
Right.
Job market's shrinking. People are coming online,
right.
All these things. You got ahead of the curve.
Well, it wasn't by choice. I tell you, I went kicking and screaming. The notion that I should have to leave my area of deep expertise. But very quickly, I began to develop another area of expertise, and people recognized it. And I could see LinkedIn in a way that other people couldn't, how we can really make it work. So it's been a really good ride. I am really grateful.
So with that, as we all pivot and reimagine ourselves, I know people that love LinkedIn. I've fallen in love with it a lot more the last couple of years. I've found a way better way of using it. But for people maybe that are trying to figure out, is it business, is it relationship, is it marketing? Give us a brief little synopsis of what is the power of LinkedIn and why do they need to get more involved with it?
Okay. Well, LinkedIn is an essential business tool. It really, really is important because people are making their first impressions of you through LinkedIn. And so many of us have empty profiles. I mean, the kind with the picture and the job titles and where you went to grad school and boom, we're done. But when you tell things about yourself that endear people to you, when you build in that know, like, and trust factor into your profile, when you share your purpose and your principles and your passion, people are drawn to you like magnets. And that's what I do when I work with someone. I build them a profile that is unique, that is absolutely them, and helps them move forward. Whether that move forward is to do a business deal with another company or grow in their company or find a new position, it just helps because when you communicate who you are, oh my goodness, people are hungry for that.
The first thing I learned when I knew LinkedIn, I thought business. I'm going to act like a business person online. I'm going to dress and behave like a business person online, right? And I'm going to do my resume online. And immediately, shortly thereafter, I learned people have way cooler profiles of mine. That's not a resume. It's a personality profile. And I began to learn real quickly, dump the resume and make it more personality. Is that true overall for LinkedIn, that we think it's resume, but it's really not?
So a resume and LinkedIn have really two different purposes. LinkedIn is a marketing document for yourself. Now, the experience section can look just like your resume. It should have a little bit about the company. It should have your accomplishments, and they should be in bullet points, all good. Really, that part looks a lot like the resume. But the beginning, no. We can write a headline that tells not only what our job title is, which is, ho hum, but what we deliver and how we deliver it. What benefit do we bring? We have 220 characters to talk about that. And then our about section. Oh, this is the good section. This is where we build in all that know, like, and trust. We have 4 fat paragraphs, 2,600 characters to tell our story, to tell our backstory, our story going forward, whatever it is that is on your heart to tell. Because when we are authentic, people are drawn to our authenticity.
So we're going to pause there for a second. We're going to launch our first poll tonight. We want to hear from you, the audience. I want to know where you're at in this whole thing. And I want to understand the people that are here. I just threw out this idea of what's your current career path? Where do you fall? Because LinkedIn is so broad and reaches so many different demographics and industries. Education, are you a CEO? Are you a speaker? Are you a thought leader? Are you a COO? Are you a manager type? Are you an employee? Or are you a student? I just threw some of these in there. I'm going to launch this poll while Carol and I keep talking. Cast your votes, please. We have some idea of who's in the house with us. And don't forget the second half of the show. We're going to bring this in the second half of the show, and you'll be able to ask live questions of Carol. Carol, one of my favorite points of the LinkedIn profile has become the opening tagline.
Oh,
instead of just,
that's so
hi,
powerful.
I'm a broadcaster, there is so much you can do just in that beginning place. Break that down, because people are missing that, I think.
Oh, absolutely. That really is powerful. It is the marketing tagline. And anybody who has been close to new product development has seen that marketing team that gets together and spends lots of dollars and hours trying to come up with the ideal sounding tagline. Well, we're looking for that same thing for ourselves. And when I'm working with someone, I spend at least an hour working on different ways to say essentially the same thing, but how it hits your ear, how it comes out of your mouth, it all matters. It is a marketing tagline, and we want to be absolutely memorable.
And with that, then, also underneath that initial tagline, you have the ability to put a brief little link, your telephone numbers. There's a sub part where you can put contact information. So often when I go find a new contact, I cut and paste. I just grab that whole thing, drop it into my database. Now I know there are other social media. So you can really expand it even beyond that one platform, right?
In the contact information, yes. The other thing that we can do in the contact information is list 3 websites. I'm having a hard time picking which websites I'm going to list because I'm running out of space. But it is fun. A lot of people don't use that. Another thing that is brand new, that is just so powerful, is the little speaker icon by your name.
Yes, that's the coolest little feature for people with name like Bontrager.
So it's called the name pronouncer. And the way that you get it on your profile is you need to be on your phone app. That's the only way. And when you're on the phone app, it will teach you or, walk you through recording how to say your name. And you get to pronounce your name. And then when you're satisfied, you accept it. It uploads, and then it's available to anybody to listen to on any device. So it's very powerful. If you have a very easy name, you might try something else, like your headline. I'm Carol Kaemmerer, if that was easy to say, and I deliver blah, blah, blah. I mean, great. You also will want to use that when you are meeting someone for the first time and you cannot figure out how to pronounce their name. So everyone likes to have their name pronounced correctly. And if they've gone to the trouble of telling you, you should go to the trouble of listening. And then when you meet them, you can greet them appropriately.
And just so you know, that falls underneath some of the initial stuff. It's using the left-hand side of your LinkedIn bio. So you'll see the name with a little sound wave coming off of it once it's completed. Otherwise, it's ghosted. It doesn't exist. But you have to use the phone. And that's the part people don't realize. They see it, but they don't know how to do it. You have to use your phone app.
Right. Absolutely.
Here is that poll result. Let's see what you think.
Oh,
here. So
good.
Who I'm going to share this now. Here's who we're talking with here tonight. We have CEOs, we have thought leaders, it has the front leaders here. And then we have a sprinkling of education, speakers, COOs, and manager types, and then just employees. So when you deal with these different types, is there a different way to approach either segment, or does some of what you coach cover the gamut?
Oh, I think that the material that I teach is absolutely universal. But the way that I implement is so maximized that it's kind of over the top for the regular user.
Okay.
So,
gotcha. You're more the C-suiter. You're more the executive, right? That's your playground.
That is. And it's a good playground for me because one of my top Gallup skills, Clifton Strengths skills, is maximizer. So when I work with someone, they get it all. They get my best, and they pay for it. So it's wonderful, though. Those are the people that I really enjoy working with.
So for a second, since you mentioned the Gallup, the personality test, I've heard people say, put the ENJS, put those little tags. It will elevate you, so people will know, here's what I get for business, and here's what I get for personality. How much importance is there in some of those little tips like that?
I put my Gallup strengths on there because my Gallup strengths absolutely align with what I'm doing. And if you are a Gallup strengths person, if you have been through that, you're going, oh my gosh, I could have this person working for me. So it works for me. When I work with someone who has gone through some kind of personality scale that is relatively widely used so that it would make sense to a large group of people, I say, let's do it. It just takes up a little line. And, if we've got room, we always put that in.
So we're going to talk about the new things to do. We're going to talk a lot about the great things, how to enhance it. I want to step back for a second. You've seen so many profiles. What are a couple top 3, 5 things that are train wrecks and do not do in this day and age?
Okay. Well, the number one train wreck is to pretend that LinkedIn doesn't really matter. That is a huge train wreck. The hallmarks of someone who treats LinkedIn as not important at all is they've got a horrible picture. Sometimes they have a picture of them all dressed up. They look real good, but then there's the wife's hand coming across and it's cut off.
The Photoshop. The Photoshop is that good.
Right. It's like somebody took them at a wedding. And, they've got that, or we absolutely couldn't care less. And they're wearing the sunglasses, it's like, no. We really must look intentional because LinkedIn is a business network. It is a business tool. And so that's the number one thing. But there are some things that we, even when we're trying, we can get wrong. So here's the worst that I've seen. C-suite person invites me to connect. I'm going, I never connect with anybody I don't connect with people who have no picture. I'm going, but I know this person. I've met this person. So I connect. Lo and behold, there's his picture. Well, I know what settings error he made. And so the very first thing I say is, you have no idea, but you're going around with no picture if people don't know who you are, if you're not connected. So that's a settings error, and it is under edit your public profile. And you have to make sure that everything in your profile is enabled. It's all on for the public to see. So that's one really bad error. Another absolutely ubiquitous kind of error is advertising your competition.
Ooh.
So what that looks like, 95% of the people are advertising their competition. And what that looks like is on the right-hand side of your profile, under a heading called People Also Viewed. On your laptop, you're showing 10 people who were looked at the same time that they looked at your profile. On the phone, you are showing 20 people that were looked at the same time as you. And all of those people are drawing attention away from your profile. So that's a settings error too, and it's under privacy settings, and it is under the heading People Also Viewed. All you have to do is turn it off. So
that's a big one, just so people also viewed is what they need to go find, because you're right. When they're clicking on, they'll see the other options, and it's like squirrel. They'll start chasing other things on rabbit trails instead of focusing on you, right?
Right. So people who are in the recruiting area are delighted to see those pictures on the right, because someone else in the recruiting area has already looked at all those people. And so they're hand selected. It's a great feature for recruiters, but for people who would like to be found for an opportunity, it's not a great feature, and we should turn it off.
So now let's flip to some of the hidden gems. Like you can put media. I think, if I remember correctly, it's just before what would be the resume area. There's an area where you can highlight some rich content. That's gold, I think, especially now for the virtual stage people that we work with so much. You should highlight your content and drop it in there, correct?
Yes. Okay, that new section is called the featured section. And the featured section is, it doesn't show up without you adding a section. So add a section is really like in the same block as your picture. You'll find it on the right. And when you add a section and add the featured section, you can put in video, you can put in pictures, you can put in posts. And when you put in a post, when people click on it, they can actually see all the comments. It's great. So use it for visual things. The biggest waste of that space is to put your resume there, because inviting your resume to that space, there's nothing pretty about your resume. It doesn't stand out visually. And so it's inviting a black hole into what's supposed to be a party. So don't do that.
So, like, for example, you can put a podcast you've been on. You can feature your website you've been on, a YouTube clip you've been on. Put some of these things that are really going to showcase you, especially video driven. It will give them a true sense of who you are. If you're a coach, you've done a coaching session you've got on video, drop a little clip of that and you see the coach in action, correct?
Well, you have to get permission from your client, but otherwise, yes, I think that's a good idea. But really, if it's a coaching session with just 2 people, you really need permission. But other than that, that section is especially nice because you can have a headline and then the image, and then you have a description, which can include the URL to go and listen to the podcast or to watch the video or whatever. It's great.
Put your website in there, because that's a lead funnel right there that pulls them directly to your website in a whole different way than your header area. It stands out much more powerfully. Hey, Here's a question that we got in the Q&A coming in. Would Strength Finders results be useful to show? Like, I love the Strength Finders. To me, that's real good meat. Should they drop that in?
I do. I really recommend that. Anybody who's got their Strength Finders strengths, I think that that provides information to people who are trying to work with us. And, you know, how nice to just in a shorthand way tell how we use information and how we process and all of those good things. So I think that's powerful, and I would use that.
If people have a really good profile and they've done, and by the way, we've already got some comments coming in the chat box. They're online changing it right now as we're talking. And that's why we do the show, everybody. We do the show to give you real meat, to go do it right now. Before I ask that question, how important is this LinkedIn to the effects of the greater virtual stage? How important is it to really rock this aspect of the virtual universe?
You know, this is the first stage that we're on. It's the people can find us 24/7 from around the world on LinkedIn. That is the glory of LinkedIn as a virtual stage. We appear all the time, whether we're awake or not. And what we want to do is to have our 24/7 digital ambassador be a great ambassador for who we are. And that takes time. It takes effort. It takes willingness to work on it, or willingness to hire someone who will work on it.
We just had another person mention that they are interested in using the video introduction for themselves. And they're asking, does it appear? Is it searchable? Are these items searchable, or are they just static, but they catch you on LinkedIn?
So I am assuming that you would also have it on your YouTube channel. And it would be searchable on your YouTube channel. I'm not sure whether, actually, I think probably it is not part of the keyword count. You know, they're just not picking up at that level. The LinkedIn algorithm, I believe, is just picking up your written words in the written sections. But the search engine isn't everything. If the search engine were everything, we could put in a string of keywords and duplicate it and fill our profile with duplicated keywords, and we would come up at the top of the search. But when people get a hold of it, we would be on the floor so fast. You know, it's a game, and we don't take kindly to being gamed like that as people. And so, yeah, I wouldn't go there.
What about the recommendation area? You can give recommendations, you can give testimonials. Some people are saying, yeah, those are lame, those are good. Where do you fall on the use of those?
The more the better. So there are two things that we can do on LinkedIn. One is endorsements, and the endorsements go on your skills, one skill at a time. Now, a skill that I teach is we can tell someone that we are thinking about them without actually using those words by endorsing 3 skills and being done. That is a signal that you came to mind today, and that's a powerful message. So endorsements is one of the things we can do. Recommendations is a whole different thing. That's more like the testimonial that you were talking about. Testimonials get read if you are in a list of people being considered for a board appointment or a new position or an internal promotion, whatever. People are going to read those because everyone knows it is darn hard to write a good recommendation. And if somebody has gone to the trouble of writing it and you're under consideration, you can be assured that they are going to read it.
And again, the fun thing that I've found is if someone drops one on me, I'm more apt to go back to them, give them one, especially if I know them, vice versa. People that, I'll go do them, they'll drop back. So it's kind of that synergy thing, which is one of the things that I found out about LinkedIn. Again, I approach it as business. One thing we haven't touched on yet tonight, it's really also high relationship and fun. It's not just stuffy business. It's become a community of fun that really has expanded the last several years. It's not just the resume boring. It's really a lot of fun.
I think that's true. And I really focus on relationships, that we do a lot of things because of our relationships. We want people that are important to us to know that we're paying attention. And so when we see them post something of value online, we comment. It is an affirmation every time. Now, some affirmations are better than others, like "you go girl" is, I could do without that one. But when someone engages with my content and they say, "Oh my goodness, point number 3, I just love that because I've seen that play out time after time, blah, blah, blah," it makes me know that they read what I wrote. And that's a great compliment. And I like to use that same approach with other people's material as well.
Well, we're going to open up in just a second. We're going to start funneling people in. We're going to have the next poll come up here. Poll number 2 tonight is, how often do you use LinkedIn? Is it rarely? Is it daily? Is it bi-monthly? Is it weekly? Are you brand new? You're just entering this new platform called LinkedIn. You're like, what in the world? You have a profile, but you've never really used it. It's amazing how many people have told me I haven't, never used it. So cast your vote here. Carol and I are going to keep talking. Carol, someone asked a question through the chat box on different platforms. So we have the desktop, we have the laptop, we have the cell phone, we have the tablets. Which one are people using more, do you think, because of the flow, or like the tricks, the tips and tricks that you can do with it now? Where are people really landing with it?
Well, I know that where you land with it is somewhat tied to your age. And with older users being more likely to be on a computer and younger on the phone, there are some things that we can only do on the computer. And here, I really want people to listen to this, because this is important when you are trying to invite someone to connect with you. And you want to make sure that you're sending a real invitation. Because when you send a real invitation, people feel invited, as opposed to that robo message, so-and-so wants to be part of your network. Really? So the only way that we can do that appropriately is we need to be on the computer, and we need to connect with the connect button on their profile. If you use the connect button on anything else, it sends the robo message. But if you are on their profile itself and you hit connect, the next thing that happens is you have the opportunity to say, "I'd like to send a message." It will ask you if they would like to send a message. And the answer is yes, please. So then you can do that. But I would say that a lot of people are using it on the phone, but you can't do everything on the phone.
And again, there are some different skills and different things you could do on all these different various apparatuses. So part of it is keeping that. By the way, everyone, welcome to the virtual stage. You've all been joined in here. This will be the second half. In a moment, we're going to open up the microphones. You can turn on your cameras and unmute as we ask questions live with Carol. This is like free coaching. This is like great stuff here. Hopefully you are taking notes. Here's the results of that poll, Carol, and then we're going to open it up to our live studio audience here. Is going to be daily by far. Oh my goodness. Is that surprising, or is this growing that people really are now using it the way it's really meant to be used?
Well, we have an erudite audience. So I don't know that we are representative of the general population of business people, but I'm glad to see that many of our listeners and participants tonight are on LinkedIn daily.
So we have a great crowd in the house tonight. Thank you for taking the time, everybody. You should have the ability to unmute yourself. And so what I'm going to do is whoever has a question, just unmute yourself, introduce yourself real briefly. Hi, I'm Steve. Here's my question. And we're going to see how many of these we can plow through in the next little bit. So whoever would like to, please jump on in tonight.
Carol, it's great to see you. Truly a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me here tonight. Rich, great job. I'm a daily user, love LinkedIn, and a big fan of Carol's, by the way.
Thank you.
How do I know what's available by phone versus online on my laptop versus should I ever have a desktop?
Okay, the only thing that is really important is that you should never connect with someone on your phone. The other thing, regardless of device, is you should never connect from a list of people you may know that LinkedIn is presenting to you. Because every time we connect from the list, we send that robo message. Other than that, the differences are really minor. They have to do with how they've shortened up the name of the setting. You know, there are a lot of settings, and one of the things that's interesting, when I was writing my first book, I sent it out to a bunch of people to look at, and one of my clients said, "Hey, you should call the setting the way they call it on LinkedIn." And I'm looking at my computer and I'm using the right words. Then I looked at my phone and they had different names for the settings. And so, you know, that's down in the noise though. The only takeaway message that I have for you really is that please, please send real invitations and do that from your computer, from the person's profile.
Thanks, David. Wonderful question.
Thank you.
Who else has got another one here for tonight? Jump on in, unmute yourself, introduce yourself briefly, and let's get things moving along.
Hi, this is Mark Loftus, longtime friend of Carol. How are you doing, Carol, tonight?
I'm great. Fun to see you.
Yes, thank you. When I've been on LinkedIn, I created a profile, have not looked at it very much. I am retired now, but I'm still active in volunteer and other engagements. So I still have a life in the professional and engaged world. One thing I've often resisted is I get requests from people I don't even know. And it's, oh, would you like to connect with me? And I have no clue who they are. It feels like for a long time I was just responding to these requests and it seemed pointless. Could you comment on that?
Yes. So I used to be very generous in connecting with a lot of people because I write content. And my supposition was, oh, they have seen my good content and they want to learn more. The fact that I can't imagine interacting with this person, I'll just allow them to connect with me and then they'll have access to my content. Well, now that I'm getting, you know, deluged every day with connection requests, I am going, nope, nope, nope. Anybody that I can tell is trying to sell things to speakers and coaches, anyone who is trying to sell me lead generation, I know they're going to do it, you know, automatically by sending 100 requests to people. And that's not the way I play. And so I just don't connect. And I think that everyone should have their own rules on who they'd like to connect with and who they're not going to connect with. And so my rules are much tighter at this particular time because I can be choosy.
Plus,
you can
Carol,
be choosy too.
Plus, Carol, I know if you do get too many new friends, get too many new connections, you will be put in timeout jail on LinkedIn for a little bit because they do think you're spamming. You do think you're webbing out and just sprawling out in your bot. So they do put you in a little timeout. So be careful of how much of that you do yourself as well, right?
Right. Well, I hardly send requests unless I actually have met the person. And most of my network builds because people are asking to connect with me. And so I really am very choosy about that now.
Ruth has got a question. Welcome to the virtual stage, Ruth. Good evening.
Yes, you're doing a great job, both of you. Love it.
Thank you.
Learning a lot. Thank you, Carol.
Good.
My question is, what is the best way to use Prime LinkedIn?
Oh,
Yep.
the premium version?
Premium, yes, premium.
Okay. Well, the real gift on premium, there are two real gifts. One of them is that you get to write to people that you don't know and that you're not connected with. That's called InMail. The other real gift on premium is you get to see 90 days worth of people that have looked at your profile. Now, I don't recommend premium to very many people. And the reason is that you can do some of those things without paying money. So if you want to communicate with someone and you know their name, but you are not connected to them, what I recommend is going to their profile, looking at the groups that they're part of, joining one of the groups that's appropriate for both of you to be in, and then you can have a conversation through the group directory. It's absolutely a private conversation like an email, and you don't have to pay every month to be able to do that. And with regard to seeing other people that have viewed you, if you are willing to look at your profile more often than people are looking, if you looked once a day and say you have 3 views a day, which is actually for many people considered a generous number of views a day, then if you looked every day, you would already know who had looked at you. If you are getting 9 views a day and you only look once a day, you're not seeing everybody that's looked at you. And so then you do need a premium account. There are some other flavors of premium, like there's a premium for job seekers, and that has some extra metrics, I think. But LinkedIn Premium is not it's not a known quantity. It changes over time. And so you need to, if you're going to assess that, figure out what they're offering today and whether you can replicate it without paying money.
And again, there's just so many wrinkles with that. And again, LinkedIn has been text-driven for the most part. They're now adding video, so like LinkedIn Live and other things are beginning to emerge. So this is beginning to sprawl for premium, for other features. It's adding layers to it now, right?
Right.
Who else has got a question for Carol? Please unmute yourself and jump on. I see Rob. Welcome.
I do.
Go, Rob. Welcome to the show.
I got a comment and a question. First a comment. I'm a social media ignorant person. At least I was. I don't really love it. I'm very friendly. I have a podcast. I have the Amazing Women podcast, which, by the way, is launching on December 15th on C-Suite. And, but I'm not real social. I don't really like those platforms. But people like Carol kept telling me, well, yeah, you should use LinkedIn because you'll be amazed at who you'll meet. And it's a good way to get your name out there. And it's more professional. It's not like Facebook where people are putting pictures of their lunch or Instagram. So I went from having 100 connections to having 3,400 first level connections in about 3 months because I hired somebody to talk to people for me, basically. Yeah. He sent out messages that were a little more friendly than the usual please connect, right? And then they responded. And then the people that are obviously trying to sell me something, or they're one of the 10 billion coaches out there that want to connect with me, I don't usually accept them. Although I have to say, since I'm doing the Amazing Women podcast, I try to connect to most women. The men
No wonder your numbers have gone up. No.
So really, I have 3,400 people. My audience is women, and I have over 3,000 women now on my first level connections. So there's a success story for you.
It is.
It is, really. And I've met really interesting people. I was shocked. I met somebody today. I'm not at liberty to talk about her, but she had an amazing story you wouldn't believe. Convoluted, scandals, all kinds of things. Fascinating to talk to. And I met high-level, CEOs and multi-million-dollar women business owners. And all of a sudden, I found LinkedIn to be invaluable. So that's my comment. My question is LinkedIn a sales navigator the same as Premium, or is that a different thing?
It is a separate product. Okay. It is a premium version, but I don't think you call it LinkedIn Premium. I think you call it Sales Navigator. And what is different about Sales Navigator is that it has a CRM feature, customer relationship management system built in.
Okay. One other thing, could you talk a little bit about LinkedIn Live, what that is, how you use it? Is that something I could use?
So what I know about LinkedIn Live is that they are very slow to grant your request that you be given access to LinkedIn Live. And my understanding is that you have to have done a fair number of live streaming elsewhere before they will give you access. So there may be somebody else that is more knowledgeable than I. But
so slow moving is a key word there. I've been in the queue for a while, Carol. I do this for a living, and I have my weekly show. And they are evaluating. They do check you out. They want to know different algorithms, but it is a new, exciting thing. I know Jeffrey Hazlitt and other people are using it daily now for quick little nuggets, not made for long content per se, but it's better for nuggets. And it is a new way LinkedIn is shifting to the video side. Keep watching it, everybody. It's going to be a more powerful tool once they kind of beta test and get it out. I have a surprise for everybody, including you, Carol. We're going to bring a common friend on, but this is a surprise. We have been talking about some new exciting things happening on Rock the Virtual Stage. Coming up in 2021, we are going to unveil several affiliates where you will get discounts by coming and joining us, and you'll get deals only you can get here. We're going to do a special one tonight. One of my affiliates, Dave, is with us tonight. Dave does virtual backdrops. He's done mine on several different occasions. I have different ones I use. He's done them for other people. But Dave, I'm going to ask him to join us for a minute because Dave is willing to offer the affiliate deal for your LinkedIn background. Right, Dave?
Yes. All the viewers today, as a special thanks to Carol and Rich. And I see a few familiar faces and friendly faces. So everyone in the show today, I can develop the header for LinkedIn free.
How's that for an affiliate deal for everybody?
He does great work.
All you have to do is drop your email into the chat. I will grab it all, and I will link you up with Dave on the backside of this. If you want a free banner done, head banner for your LinkedIn as an affiliate gift for joining us tonight, we will do that. Fill up the chat box, and we will make sure we grab it all, and then you will get direct access to Dave, and he will take your graphics and work your magic. And again, Dave and I have some other things in the work for 2021, so keep coming back. We have some amazing things in the pipe for everybody. So thank you, Dave, for doing that.
Sure.
That is amazing, Dave. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carol. And added to that, anyone who wants a Zoom virtual background, I'm giving a 50% discount for your viewers today.
So there we go, the 50% discount for the, and so mention in the chat if you would, you want LinkedIn, you want the Zoom background, and we will make sure we distinguish that when we do this. Again, this is the affiliate deal. And again, you're going to see more of this coming in 2021. So you guys are the first ones to get this opportunity. Seriously, it's been discussed, but I haven't revealed it. So you guys get the primetime gift here tonight. What other questions do we have from our audience from the little bit of time we have left? We got time for some more. Someone unmute yourself and jump on in, please.
Yeah, I've got Mark Loftus again. The demographic profile of LinkedIn users. As I'm looking around the screen, I see a lot of faces that are, let's say mature. faces and 20 something, 30 somethings. Are they as young business professionals in a variety of worlds, are they engaging with LinkedIn, or are they finding something else like Instagram? Or talk about that if you would.
Great question. Great question.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you about this audience. The reason this audience is looking mature is that you are all my friends. So I don't believe that the young people are all over it like you would think. It doesn't mean that they don't have profiles. I think everybody has a profile, but they're not paying much attention, just like most of us are not paying much attention. They don't intuitively know what to do, even they don't know more than you. They are not students of LinkedIn. They do know things like that the 3 little dots in the corner mean that you're supposed to click to find something underneath. Now that was something that was introduced in like 2017, and when it happened, I'm going, where did all the controls go? I was mortified until I asked my sons, who said, "Mother, don't you know you're supposed to click on the 3 little dots?" So they do know that, but they are not savvy in terms of knowing that this is a relationship tool. No more savvy than we are.
Good question, though. Who else has got a question here tonight? Unmute yourself and introduce yourself real briefly and ask away. Carol is here to help you out. This is amazing. Don't forget, we're also going to talk about her book here at the end and a new gift she has as well, because her new book is about ready to be released very soon. Yes. Any other questions?
Well, Carol, first I want to acknowledge somebody, Frank Klesanik. I don't know if that's a name that sounds familiar to you.
Yes, indeed.
So Frank was kind and gracious enough to extend this invitation to all his graduating cohort.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
Augsburg University. So something you touched on just a moment ago is the fact that people don't realize that this is a business network tool. A lot of these people are going into new businesses, which is why he introduced us to you. But that was the general consensus. Well, I don't know how to use it. I'm not posting a resume. So the general understanding is that you're looking to expose your resume, and they're looking to start their businesses.
Yes. So one of the things that really is important is that students get that kind of training in college or in graduate school right before they are going to emerge into the world, because more and more recruiters are starting with LinkedIn. Now that happens more at the senior levels than at the entry levels. But, if your profile is not there, you have no chance of being selected. So
one other thing that I'm going to tack on there kind of with that younger generation, this whole profile thing, on my website, I have linked my LinkedIn profile there. If they go check out my main business site, they will also be able to find that, and it funnels them back in. Why replicate your resume over and over again? Why replicate all this wonderful stuff you've created? Link it in and bring them back around. It will look good and sharp with all these things that Carol's been telling you. So that's another way to share it. Before we let Carol have the final few words here, Carol, tell us a little bit about your book, the release, and just kind of tell us what's going on with that.
Okay. Well, I still don't have the date for its release, but I do have the go-ahead from my distributor to put it on pre-order on Amazon, and it will be there on early next week. And I anticipate that it will be available before Christmas. Whether you get it by Christmas, I certainly can't promise, but it would be orderable before Christmas. So that's exciting. The other thing that's exciting is that will come in 3 flavors this time. So it will come in a hardcover book, very similar to my old book. The new book will have a little thing in the corner that says second edition, and it will have the book award that I won. Best LinkedIn books of all time is the award that I won. And so that'll be on the cover. The second flavor is it comes in Kindle, and that's great. And the third flavor is Rich Bontrager and I are recording the book so you can listen to it. And we know that so many people are busy these days and really enjoy listening as they're commuting, listening as they're doing their walk, whatever it is. And so for the first time, we'll have that available like that. The real differences between my current book and my book that will be out in just a few weeks is it's updated. All of the settings have changed names since I wrote, and every function on LinkedIn they've renamed. So it's all updated. But more importantly, I've added a section for people who are in job transition, because there are some very specific things that those people need to know. And I've added action items at the end of each chapter. And that way, if you are reading through the book, you will actually be doing some things that will get you closer to your ideal profile. So that's what's coming. One of the things that I wanted to do as a thank you to all of you for showing up is that if you connect with me on LinkedIn and request my free gift, or if you're already connected and you just request my free gift, I will send it to you. It is a step-by-step guide to creating a powerful LinkedIn profile.
So what I just did with that, Carol, I redropped. We had posted Carol's LinkedIn at the top of the chat. It's now the #1 on the bottom. You can grab her LinkedIn profile, send her a message, connect with her, make sure you do that, and mention How to Rock the Virtual Stage Show and get that offer that way. It's a straight pipeline directly to her, nice and easy.
Yeah, it'll be good, because that way I will know that you have come from Rich's show and I can share that with him.
So in the final moments, I have a gift for you, Carol. This is always our surprise at the end of the show here. If you would like to give a takeaway, what's your just a short little takeaway, a thank you back to Carol, a way to say she gave you good content here tonight. If you have anything you want to say thank you to her on what that great takeaway was, unmute yourself real quickly and just give it to us, and we'll see how many of these little thank yous we can drop in here before we wrap up tonight. Anyone want to go?
Carol, I pretend to think that I'm an expert on LinkedIn, and I just need to tell you that every time I listen to you, I learn something. So thank you and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, David.
I'll just say that Carol is a generous spirit. She's helped my daughter figure out a way to, as a 20-something, to get her profile in better shape, and it was invaluable to her. So thank you, Carol.
Thank you. Dave
Carol,
has his.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to talk to Carol virtually one-on-one. And the best thing that she gave me a pointer on LinkedIn about this speaker icon, and I was able to set it up. And my last name is hard to pronounce. And now people can listen to me as to how I pronounce my name. It's Dev Vasudevan. Thanks, Carol. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Mark, you were going to jump in, I think. Jump on in, Mark.
Yeah, you bet. I did not know about the thing about not connecting from your mobile phone. So I will not be doing that in the future.
Good.
Thank you, Carol. It's all
excellent.
Anyone else got anything they want to quickly say before we have a quick wrap up?
I wanted to join Dave. And my name is Ruth Breyer, and everybody has a problem pronouncing it. I have to repeat 10 times how to spell it. So thank you, Carol.
Excellent.
Don't forget, next week we're going to shift from the nighttime. We're going to do a double header next week on Wednesday and Thursday. It's going to be Stephen Rao is going to be with us, former Disney management He is an individual that's going to help you with speaking, consulting, but increasing your financial income as you rock the virtual stage. How do you get revenue streams? How do you get better ways of making things happen for your industries through the virtual stage? Stephen is a fantastic guy. This marketing, branding, he knows it all. And then on Thursday, on the 3rd, by the way, Steve will be at noon. Allison Graham will be on Thursday at 1 o'clock next week. And she is the author, speaker, inspiring with resilience. Believe me, we all need a little resilience coaching and uplifting right now with 2020 coming to an end. So join us. Find it on LinkedIn. Find it on all the different outlets. Get your tickets from Eventbrite. Follow us on Eventbrite, and you'll always get the updates as well. Carol, I will give you the final parting shots before I wrap it up here tonight. What would be your final say or takeaway tonight for everybody?
Oh, use it well. It is the way that we can nurture our ideal connections. It is the way that I grow my business, and I believe that you can too.
Thank you, Carol. From Minneapolis, Carol Kaemmerer. I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager, How to Rock the Virtual Stage here every week. And we always do it live. We always give you the chance to interact with our amazing, fantastic guests. Right now, it's on YouTube. All the back shows are on YouTube. And it's coming to C-Suite TV. We are uploading all of it to C-Suite TV. You'll be able to follow and track it and look for those new affiliate programs coming as well. Don't forget, drop in the chat before you go that you want Dave's special affiliates tonight. You want those package deals. You want the LinkedIn and you want the backdrop. Mention them both. We will follow up with you and get those as part of the affiliate offer. And thank you again, Dave, for jumping on board with us tonight and bringing that live. That's going to do it. If you want to save the chat, the 3 dots on the far right-hand side of the chat box, you get to download everything right to your desktop. You can save all the information. That way you can grab Carol's profile for LinkedIn and follow up. For Carol, I'm Rich Bontrager, the Trigger. God bless. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. And we will see you next week on How to Rock the Virtual Stage.